So the top newbie question always when people get into investing is they try to figure out all the nitty gritty stuff that it does matter, but it doesn't, right? So they always ask like, do I need an LLC for a rental or to invest or to whatever, right? So ideally I'm not the best person to answer that, right? You got to talk to your lawyer and your CPA and how you structure things. But I guess it depends on your goal, your situation, and what you're doing, right? So again, ask a lawyer or a CPA about how to get it best structured for you. But most people hold their rentals, investments, whatever, in an LLC, right? Because they want to hide. Hide's not the best word for it, but let's just call it hide their identity and be able to help better protect their personal assets in case of anything, right? So obviously an LLC is only as good as it's actually ran and maintained, right? So if you correctly run an LLC, you're good. But if you don't, and most people don't because they're cheap and they don't pay a lawyer to structure an LLC correctly and have that lawyer tell them what they should and shouldn't do and how to properly do it, right? So what happens, and let's just say you get sued for something, a judge can pierce the corporate veil and you essentially wasted less money than if you would have paid a lawyer, but you essentially wasted it because they can pierce the corporate veil and the LLC is essentially useless, right? So it was a waste of money, but at least you saved some money. So don't be cheap and pay a lawyer to set up an LLC and teach you how to properly use it so it actually, you get all the benefits that it offers, right? So the point of this video is, even though it's like long drawn out and all over the place, is when you do set up an LLC, most people set up an LLC online. They don't have any of the forms that you should, well, they do have the essential forms, but they don't have any of the other documents that you should have as an LLC, right? Because it is a business. But the point of it is most people, when they set it up, they set themselves up as the resident agent, right? And most of the time, the resident agent is the owner, right? What most people do is they set themselves as the resident agent. So why is that a problem? Well, if you are trying, I don't like using the word hide because that's not what you're trying to do. You're just trying to, whatever, we're just going to keep saying hide. Hide your identity, right? And that's for a variety of reasons, right? If you have rentals and you have some crazy tenants, you know, people are worried that people are going to like come after you or whatever, right? And they don't want their name on the property or whatever the reason is, right? But ideally, when you set this up, you have a resident agent that's not you, right? That's a lawyer, that's a family, a relative, right? If you do a lawyer, you can pay companies to be your resident agent, and it's like $100-something a year. And essentially all the resident agent does is collect mail, right? So if someone like sues you or something happens, they get that through the mail and they present it to you, right? So ideally you just pay that $130 and get it over with. It's $10 a month or whatever it ends up being, instead of a family or friend, because that's just the best way to do it, right? Is just to pay someone, and instead of having to rely on someone else that really gives no shits about your LLC. And right, so ideally that's how you do it. The reason why this question came up was someone was saying that they moved out of Michigan, and in order to have an LLC in Michigan, you need to have an address here, right? It can't be a PO box. So that's why this came up, because they're like, well, what do I do since I don't have an address there anymore? Do I just keep it in my name, or do I keep it on, like, what do I do, right? And the answer is have a resident agent, right? And the answer is, even if you do live here, you have a resident agent. So that way, essentially, you own nothing, right? That's where you want to get to, is you own nothing, but you can control the companies that own everything, right? And that's just for asset protection and all this other stuff, right? For a variety of different reasons. But long discussion about this. But essentially, hold all your properties in an LLC and structure it properly. Have a lawyer structure it, and to go on top of all that, make sure that the resident agent is either a company that has resident agents or a lawyer, right? And that is in the best interest of, I think, everyone. I know when we skip trace people, I would probably say like 80-90% of people use themselves as a resident agent. So when we're trying to figure out who owns the property, we send, mail or, whatever. It's pretty simple to figure out who owns the property because it's usually the resident agent. But you can tell when you do come across a resident agent because it's usually an attorney, it's usually something like that, right? So those are the more sophisticated investors, right? So hope this video helped. I know it was a long chat about essentially trying to tell you about the resident agent and who it should be, but I hope it helped. And if you have any questions, probably ask a lawyer or a CPA, right? Not me about LLCs and stuff, but I'm just speaking from what I know, right? And what I know may or may not be right. And obviously don't ask a CPA questions for a lawyer, right? Because that happens all the time, right? CPAs are more than happy to set up an LLC for you, but they can't tell you how to properly run that LLC for it to, again, be effective and give you the proper benefits that it does offer, right? They can tell you from a tax standpoint what you can and can't do, but from a legal standpoint, most CPAs can't, right? That's why you have a lawyer set it up. That's why you have a lawyer draft all your documents and give you a stack of papers with operating agreements and all the other stuff, so everything is legal and will hold up in case of I can't say it, in the court of law is what I was going for. So anyway, hope this video helped, and I'll see you on the next one. And my button's still not working, so maybe one day we'll have a button that works. Still not working. Still not working. Still not working. Oh, it's because it's off. That's all right. Anywho, one day we'll get editors to be able to edit out my insane rapid clicking. But until that time,